You have just seen a short clip from Cycle, a locally produced film on domestic violence. If you saw anything at all familiar, please stay tuned for Health Watch. Hello, I'm Terrence Haffer Anderson, and this is Health Watch. Let me ask you, how did you feel as you watched that clip at the top of the show? More importantly, how do you think the women, children, and yes, men feel who have experienced such traumatic events live firsthand? Obviously, we're going to be having a very serious discussion today. Please know that it may not be appropriate for all audiences, especially young children. Yet it is a conversation that demands attention. Simply put, you need to know that despite having disturbingly violent proportions, there is a pair of silent menaces raging in our communities. And for the people who have experienced either firsthand, we can no longer afford to keep them at a whisper behind closed doors. Our topics today are domestic violence and sexual assault. And so that we might have frank, open, and insightful discussion, I brought three people on board who bring considerable gravitas to these topics. Please join me in welcoming Dorothy Moore, a counselor at the YWCA of Southampton Roads Counseling Center. I also want to welcome Ms. Yadis M. Sedano Jr., affectionately known as Indio, a gifted writer, producer, director friend of mine who wrote the powerful short film Cycle and is the president of Real Vision Productions. Last but not least, I have the great pleasure of welcoming another friend, Delia Dee Davis Tillett, a talented actress who in just a few moments will share a very tragic personal story about domestic violence. But let me set the stage on how critically important it is that these topics be explored, examined, and eliminated from our communities. On an average day in the U.S., more than 3 women are murdered by their husbands or boyfriends. In 2005, 1,181 women were murdered by an intimate partner. Nearly 1 in 4 women in the U.S. report experiencing violence by a current or former spouse or boyfriend. In 2007, there were 248,300 rapes and assaults, sexual assaults in the U.S., more than 500 per day. Some 3.4 million persons said that they were victims of stalking during a 12-month period between 2005 and 2006. From October 2009 to September 2010, the Virginia Family Violence and Sexual Assault Hotline responded to 4,185 crisis calls. As you can see, nationwide, statewide, and metro-wide, domestic violence and sexual assaults near epidemic proportions. Today we're going to explore why, how, and what can be done about it. Welcome to Health Watch, guys.
Thank you, Terrence.
It's a delight to have you on the show, and I knew I was going to say Tillett rather than Tillett.
It's fine.
I'd like to start with you, Dorothy. You work again at the YWCA Southampton Roads, and you work with the Women in Crisis Program and the Response Sexual Assault Support Services. Tell us a little bit about those programs, but also tell us how it is that you became personally involved. And I'm going to ask the same thing of the two of you as well.
Okay. Well, the YWCA of Southampton Roads and those 2 programs that fall underneath that, Women in Crisis and Response Sexual Assault Support Services, as an agency, we're dedicated to serving the community of Southampton Roads during times of crisis. We do this by providing a 24-hour-a-day hotline. We do this by providing crisis counselors during forensic exams, and also by providing emergency shelters. We do community outreach and a variety of other services. Personally, I worked for 17 years with the Department of Social Services, and
was that in the city of Norfolk?
It was in the city of Newport News.
Oh, okay. All right.
But you know, interacting with individuals who live through these type of events and hearing their stories on a day-to-day basis and watching them go back home and having to survive through that motivated me to continue my education and become a counselor where I could come in and actually help them achieve a better quality of life.
And I see you do bring some passion.
Yes, I am very passionate about it.
I imagine that's probably because you've seen a whole lot that has touched you.
Yes, and because I you know, is a part of who I am as an individual as well. I care about my clients. I care about the population that I serve. And, you know, knowing that people have to live through these type of things, I want to do everything I can to help give them a choice so that they can step out of that.
India, we're going to take a look at another clip from Cycle in just a moment here. How is it that you came to write, produce, and direct what became an award-winning film? What is the background there?
The beginning stages of the film was something I wrote when I was a young boy, witnessing domestic violence and abuse, verbal abuse, in my own home with my mom and dad. So I actually wrote that when I was a young boy, about 10 years old.
This is like the beginning part.
Right, the beginning part when you see the young boy growing up.
Right.
And as I got older, I slowly started to see myself become my father, and saw that this was going to be something that was not going to turn out well for myself or my family. And I did something about it and decided to write about it so that I can help other men, teenagers and women and young girls in this situation.
So having seen that as a child, they call it, I believe, patterning.
Yeah, it's a model.
Model.
The model that you come out of is your family of origin,
Right.
which sets a model for you and can perpetuate
Right.
that violence through generations.
And you experienced that yourself.
Right.
Yeah. And you sought counseling apparently of some
Right.
sort.
I sought counseling myself. I didn't become a physical abuser, but I was more of a verbal abuser.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's things that made me, or I always said to myself, that pushed me to that point. Men always say, you know, they push my buttons. But I sought help by myself. I wasn't court ordered or anything. And when I saw myself becoming more of a verbal abuser, it don't matter what the other person did, I have to control my own emotions. So I said, you know, I need to go do something about it, and that's what I did.
You know, as a writer, I've been writing for well over 50 years, being essentially an architect of words, so to speak, being very familiar with the structure of words and syntax. I sometimes have to remind myself how profoundly impactful words can be.
Right.
Yeah. What was the award that?
I won actually 2 awards for that.
Two
film.
awards.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That award, we won the SOL Film Festival 2008 and the Mid-Atlantic Black Film Festival as well, the
Right,
same year.
right.
So it was a good collaborative piece between myself, Mike Lamel.
Michael Lamel.
Mike
Yeah.
Lamel, yeah.
Yeah.
Jay Johnson, also
Right.
Tony Ware. Or, you know, it was a collaborative effort between all of us. I wrote it, but they were all, you know, helping
Certainly.
hands on it. Yeah.
Certainly. And as for yourself, how is it that you come to speak with such passion? What is your story?
I just pretty much like to be able to encourage those who have gone through some type of domestic violence, or especially young children. My heart goes out to the teenagers, because for some reason they think it's the way to do things, and that's not the way. So one of my things that I do is I try to talk to people and let them know what I had to endure as a child, and that I'm still here, and I didn't turn out wrong because of it, or I didn't turn out bad because of it, because I decided to make a change, to do things differently from what happened with my biological mother.
And that's something, if you would indulge me and our viewers, that's something that I would like to discuss here, if you could share that story, because I remember you told me that many years ago. Again, I know you as an actress, and I remember many years ago you told me about this experience. And it had quite an impact on me, so I can imagine how much of an impact it had on you and your brother. Would you share with our viewers a little bit?
Yes. I was 4 years old when we moved from New York. My mother was from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, and her and my father moved to New York. I never met him. They separated. So when I was 4, we moved to New York, and my mother met this guy. And the beatings started from there. And as time progressed, they got worse over a period of 3 years. And the last...
So he started beating up.
Yeah, he was beating her up. And a lot of times I ask people when they say they were in domestic violence, a lot of people say, well, he didn't blacken my eyes or anything, but he blackened my mother's eyes. You know, her face was disfigured. It was bruises on her body. I would come home and not even know who she was. But this last particular night, and I remember it, we got out of a cab. He hit her outside. She fell. Her head hit a rock. He drug her up the stairs. He punched her. He stomped her. He kicked her. He doused her with water. And we were crying, and he would yell at us and tell us to shut up. And we were under a table because we were so afraid and so scared. But the next morning, I got up. I shook my mother, and I told her it was time for us to go to school. And the only thing she did was she gave her last breath, and all this stuff came out of her nose and mouth. And our next door neighbor came and knocked on the door and asked us to let them in. And we let them in, and they said to lock the door back. And when they came back, they had the TV station, the police, and the ambulance.
The TV station was there already?
Yes.
So I guess they just heard the police call. Mm-hmm. You were 7 years old?
7 years old. I remember it like it was yesterday.
When you talk about this, I warn you guys we might go off script a little bit here, but when you talk about this to other people, is it at all cathartic? Does it help you still today deal with those emotions?
It does, because right after she was killed, we were taken for counseling. But for those 2 months, they saw nothing wrong with us, and they told my foster parents, don't bring them back. There's nothing wrong with them. But it didn't hit me until I was almost 10. One day it hit me like a ton of bricks that my mother wasn't coming back. And then I had to start dealing with all the emotions that had been locked inside. Me and my brother was very close. So for years we didn't talk about it. We would not talk about it, but I would have my nightmares. And so in 1997, I told my brother one day, I said, you know what, every year at a certain time, I have these nightmares and I cry about our real mother. He said, well, I do too.
And that was the time of year?
Yeah. It's when we started talking about it.
Dorothy, the Women in Crisis website lists some warning signs
Yes.
For domestic violence. Mm-hmm. We're going to put some of them up on the screen as we talk, but could you cite a few and just elaborate on them?
Okay. Well, some of them that stood out for me was controlling, where you could go, not allowing you to go out alone, wanting to controlling you by making you stay on the phone. If I have her on the phone or have him on the phone, then I know where he is and I know who he's talking to. Controlling how you interact with family members, or even withholding, keeping you from interacting with other family members. These are warning signs, and there are things that can be misconstrued as, oh, he loves me so much he wants me all to himself, or she loves me so much that, they just want me all to themselves, when in fact these are controlling behaviors. The other thing is that these also show signs of a lack of impulse control on the abuser's part. It shows anger issues, or, but the most important thing is in any domestic violence or sexual assault situation, it's about power and control. And these are these red flags and these warning signs are tools that they use to exert that power and control, to pull you in and to keep you under that dome, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, we have some red flags that we're going to put up a little bit later as well.
Okay.
But so the warning signs and the red flags.
Sure.
Dee Dee, did you? I know you weren't necessarily privy to the relationship that your mom, particularly at the age of 4 through 7, the relationship that your mom had with her boyfriend. Mm-hmm. But as you reflect back on it now, do you think that you saw warning signs?
Yeah, I know she did, because the night before she was killed, she asked my foster parents, who were good friends with her, she asked them if something happened to her, she said, would you promise me you would raise Ernie and Dee Dee? And they said they would, but they said, but nothing's going to happen to you. And the next night, he killed her.
How about you, Anil? Did you see any warning signs?
Yeah, that's why I went to get help, because when I saw myself, every time we argued, the arguments started to escalate. I started to use words when I heard her say certain things, words that I'd never used when I was, cursing. And then,
right.
well, okay, I won't use the words here, but you know, you start
Sure,
off with
yeah,
one.
I appreciate that.
Right, we use one curse, then one curse
Right.
becomes two curses,
Right, right.
and then you start to get louder and louder. Then, you know, before you know it, you know, you start yelling, outright yelling and arguing. And I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't how, you know, we're supposed to, you know, come to an agreement. And I said, this is how I remember seeing my mom and dad. And then a fight erupts. And I knew at that point that I had to either leave the situation, you know, leave the house and do something about it.
Well, I'm glad that that you've come in and have spoken with such frankness and honesty, and I think this is an ideal time to take another look at the clip, at a second clip that we have. So we're going to take another look at a clip right now, and I will ask that you guys in the studio put that clip up now for us.
You can't tell me what to do anymore. I'm not going to let you control me ever again, because you're never going to change. You're just like your father.
I'm nothing like my father.
Just because you have a degree and you wear a suit to work, what? That doesn't mean anything. Oh, you think because you don't smoke or drink that you're different?
I am different. Stop talking like you know my
I
father.
do know him, and I know you're an abuser and you're controlling. You're just like your father and your grandfather.
I told you stop talking to me like that and disrespecting me. Now you're going to make me show you how to respect me.
Man, that's some powerful stuff there. I'm curious, as you were working with the this particular project, how did it impact you personally? Was it also catharsis?
It was very difficult shooting the film. Well, after we shot the film, shooting the film, you know, as a filmmaker, you're so involved in the acting and the cameras, the crew, and everything else surrounding the film that it really didn't hit me until I saw the film after we finished it and edited the film. And after watching the film and I saw the impact that it had on the audience at these film festivals, people started to come to me, grown men crying after seeing the film. And at that point is when people started to ask me to come speak at colleges, at universities, and shelters. And before you know it, I started to speak about it, and I've been invited. You know, I spoke in, you know, about 15 different venues already, you know, newspapers, magazines, and it all started from this film. And the whole time, every time we go to these venues and we play the film, I haven't seen the film since 2008. And every time I go to these venues and speak, I always end up crying, and because it
touches you so
because
deep.
it touches me, and it's so personal to me. To a lot of people it's a film, but to me it's my life and other people's lives. And like I said, I haven't seen the movie. I saw it one time in 2011, and before that, last time I saw it was in 2008. And it just hurts me every time I see it.
Sure.
To see, you know, what happened to this young boy who became the man, and you know, those things.
And because they can in fact cross generations.
Right. And it's just very real.
Dorothy, we talked earlier about red flags. I want to make sure that we get some of those in.
Okay.
Can you give us cite some of the examples of the red flags and how they might differ from the warning signs?
Well, some additional red flags. I think I mentioned earlier about using the telephone and controlling your access to family members, isolating you from your social support, use of alcohol, which, you know, and other drugs, which alters the abuser's behavior. Not knowing about who they were before you met them. What was their past like? That's a huge part of a huge red flag in going into a relationship with an individual. Blaming you for their behavior. You know.
Yeah, I saw that was, as I was doing the research, that that was something that was repeated in both the warning
that's
signs.
a very big part of abusive behavior. The abuser not taking responsibility for his own actions.
Right.
And unfortunately, because the victim is trying so much to please and recreate that happy time for in the relationship, they psychologically take on the abuser's responsibility to make the relationship work.
I want to make sure that we get as much in as we possibly can. I saw a diagram on your website, the cycle of violence.
Yes.
I want to ask if we can put that up on the screen now. And can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Sure, absolutely. The cycle of violence, the way it's labeled on the website, talks about the honeymoon phase, which of course is not how we refer to it any longer. And then there is that tension phase, and then the explosion phase. I and my colleagues refer to what's called the honeymoon phase as a time of peace. It's a time when the relationship, it's a time when the relationship is going well. You're getting along. The prospective abuser, for lack of a better way of putting it, is showing that he cares. He's displaying these loving acts and just really kind of ingratiates himself to you. And then what happens during the tension phase, and I actually had a client share this with me. She said, you know, initially he acted like he cared for me. I felt understood, and like nobody in the world understood me like he did. But then when the tension and during the escalation, as this young man spoke to about the rising of the arguments, they take those things and use it as weapons, again, as they exert that power and control to shut the victim down, to control their behavior, to demean them even.
Does someone have, I want to jump ahead here, because again, I want some things I might want to make sure we get in. Okay. Does someone have to be a victim before they contact the YWCA, a victim of domestic violence or sexual assault?
Well, I think you're asking, can anyone, of course, come to the agency? And the answer is absolutely. We've expanded our services beyond crisis sessions because we recognized that there was a need in the community, and so we've developed a community mental health agency that responds to all mental health needs and in the community. You can be evaluated for free services, crisis counseling, or low-fee counseling.
We've talked a fair amount about NDO's own experience and what happened with your mom's boyfriend. But let's kind of flip the tables here a little bit. Do you get men that come to seek assistance?
Actually, men do come, and that is so important because men, I think by nature, feel like they're supposed to just shoulder it and carry it on their own. But counseling is so important in helping you look at the choices that you can make. It's not easy carrying it by yourself, trying to have it roll around in your mind, trying to decide, well, if I do this today, will I do this tomorrow? But actually talking about goal planning and talking about the steps that's necessary to make those goals happen. And that helps you make decisions on a day-to-day basis as to how you want to interact with your partner.
Dee Dee, you're having witnessed this as a child, and yourself as well, actually, you witnessed it as a child. What would you say to a mother who might find herself in this situation?
I would tell her to get out of it because it's not only going to damage her, but her children. Her children is what carries on the legacy, and she wouldn't want this to be a continual generational curses, but what it becomes, because if the children see it, when they grow up, then they do it, and then they pass that on to their children. So it affects them, and it's a lifelong scar that no matter how much you talk about it, no matter how much counseling you seek, you don't forget it. Counseling and prayer and everything helps you to cope with it, to deal with it, and to be able to talk to other people to help them get through it. But get out, and you don't have to be in it. That's not love. All
right. You mentioned prayer, and I'm going to do something a little different here. If you can tell us about a project that you have coming up, 30 seconds or less. Do a 30-second public service announcement. It's
called The Ultimate Sacrifice. It is a love story about two Christians, young adult Christians who are in love, and Michael has to make a decision if he's going to give up everything for love and his
Okay.
beliefs about God to marry Brooke, the woman of his dreams.
And how can someone reach you if they want to do?
They could call me at 757-320-3155.
Okay, Indio, you mentioned that you speak at different places. Would you be interested in doing that if someone were to call and
Yeah,
ask?
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, do you want to give your number now? We don't have it up on the screen, but do you want to do that? You want to have them reach me?
Yeah, the number is 347-661-6984.
347-661-6984.
Yes.
Okay, and if you can give us contact information, please, for Women in Crisis and Response.
Sure. Our main office number is 757-625-4. You're going to shoot me.
4248.
Thank you.
Okay.
4248.
All right.
And we have a 24-hour-a-day hotline. Response is 622-4300. Women in Crisis is 625-5570.
Okay, let me have you repeat those again. The 24-hour hotlines for response is what?
Response is 757-622-4300.
Okay.
And Women in Crisis is 757-625-5570.
Okay. You know, guys, I really want to thank you so very much for coming on and talking about this this critically important topic. If there is anything that you would like to say in conclusion before we go, I feel like I'm going to be a political commentary here. You have 10 seconds or less. Now, is there anything that you'd like to say in conclusion?
Yeah, well, first I'd like to say thank you for having me here. And I'm glad that we got to talk about this. I wish we had a little longer time. But also, men and women, watch out for the warning signs.
Watch out for the warning signs. Anyone else want to add?
Yes, I would like to say, you know, one of the things we're asking of the victim is to leave, and we're asking them to leave without giving them something in return, and that is what our agency provides. It gives them resources. It helps them make choices about what to do in the future. Please please know that it's there, and we're there for you.
And Dee Dee.
Myself and my brother both like to go around and talk about it, and he is a minister. He could help those, and actually
He's a minister now.
He's a minister, and he also can help those to learn to forgive, because sometimes we don't forgive, but he's a good motivational speaker to be able to do that, to help people.
Well, again, guys, I want to thank you so very much for coming on to Health Watch and talking about domestic violence and sexual assault. I'm hoping that as many people as possible can see that film, India, because it is indeed a very good film. And I watched it again recently, and it's very, very impactful. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
And of course, we want to thank you for joining us for this edition of Health Watch today. If you'd like to see previous editions of Health Watch, you can go online at www.norfolk.gov. If you'd like to drop me a line, you can email me at terrence.affer-anderson@vdh.virginia.gov. Please also feel free to give me a call at 757-683-8836. Again, that's 757-683-8836. For the Norfolk Department of Public Health, I'm Terrence Affer-Anderson, and this has been Health Watch.